brother Tom's into it, right?
Yeah, he's been doing his due diligence. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's fully sold on the idea.
Yeah,
just
but
yet, but
interesting
There's a lot of
concept. I know I've got a friend of mine who's like big into science, and he's like sent experiments and shit to the ISS and all sorts of stuff, and he's been experimenting with. You might have seen this online where you can accelerate light. If you accelerate light beyond the speed of light, it explodes.
Right.
And then if you take a picture of it, the way it explodes is like a disc. Like if you capture the explosion, it's just like a you know, like a sonic boom. It just leaves this big disc.
Yeah.
It's like a big disc. And then what happens if you look around it is, as this is how he's trying to prove that the ether exists. So he's saying what happens is the electrons speed up and they blow up. And what happens? They return to the ether, and you can kind of capture these little spirals.
All right.
And if you look at the sun, with sunglasses on, you can reflect the spirals onto your sunglasses, and these like little, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's basically the connection between the ether and the reality. And he suggests that the ether is just electrons.
Okay.
Which, you know, may pass into another theory that's
so mainstream science doesn't like the ether. Hey, they don't.
Like that.
We say the ether does absolutely exist, as Tesla said.
I mean, all Einstein's experiments. I think it's Einstein. He doesn't consider that there's an ether there.
Yes.
And if you do, then
relativity fails or something.
Yeah,
these theories don't work. Yeah. So that's why he had to get rid of it, and it's what they were picking up with the interferometer experiments, where they were doing in the 1800s to try and prove whether the Earth was turning, and they kept picking up this few miles an hour movement, and they didn't want to accept. They said at the time it was ether, but then that was like rubbished. But that was the interferometer was so good at proving that the Earth is not moving. They buried those peer-reviewed sciences back then. But as you were talking and describing the shape, it made me, that your friend was seeing in his experiments, it made me think of the ferrocell experiments that people are doing. When you look at a ferrocell under certain conditions, you can see that kind of that torus or toroidal kind of activity happening. And this is what we're actually, I think what we're seeing with the sun is some kind of toroidal center point that gives us this, blinding or this powerful energy. That's how I see it. But so your friend, that's interesting, because for me the ether is an essential part of a flat Earth. It's like an electromagnetic soup that everything grows in, and this is what keeps us well. This is what energy comes from. I mean, a lot of the mainstream science is based on getting rid of the ether. So I wish him well with that. I think in physics, everything seems to settle at levels. If you take oil on water or other liquids, we've got an image here on the back here, or I think maybe on your flyer, of all other liquids. We know that if we put them in a container, they will settle perfectly level. So if I made that container 10 miles wide, they'd still be level. And if I made that container 100 miles or 1,000 miles wide, they'd still be level. But we're told at some point it's going to start bending because of the curvature or forced by gravity. And if it's 8 inches in the mile squared, as they say, then we should be able to see that over just a mile, or even a half a mile, or even the length of a swimming pool, an Olympic pool. We should be able to say there's 5 millimeters of curvature on this water. But we will never get that on a large body. A meniscus, yes. And a meniscus is all we see here. At the ocean side is a little bit of ripple or a bit of swell. This is the meniscus of the oceans, but they're all one level. It's one sea level. And that's, once you can unpick that, then you might be willing to realize that, gosh, the game against my mind is total. It's a complete, total brainwashing. It's not to be ugly about it, but just to say the reality is that until we realize the extent of the game against us, we're never going to be able to free our minds truly. You might be an expert in your field, but I say to people, like, if you were playing chess on a ball-shaped board, your pieces would be falling off. No matter how good you are, you couldn't get your pieces to stick to that board. But once you flatten the board out and play your game of chess as a master, then you will achieve the highest level that you were meant to. So Flat Earth is the foundation, but beyond that is your divinity, your soul, and this connection to something much higher, this vibration that we're meant to be raising, and to be a part of that, to be a knower, spelt with a K, N-O-W-E-R, a knower of the truth about who and what you are, will ensure that your life is as rich as it's meant to be. Given the nature of this system. It might be that it's many thousands of years before the humankind returns to some sort of Eden, And I would suggest to you that we're not ready for that now anyway, because people are so caught up in this system of materialism and the 7 deadly sins that there's no way we're ready for that. But in time, when enough people vibrate right, then I think that the system will be empowered to make those sort of changes.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Guys, it's been fantastic talking to you. Yeah, my name is Trinity4 on YouTube if you want to hear me talk anymore. Trinity with the number 4 at the end.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got a photo of all that back as well.
Cool. Well, I'll put this on my... Unfortunately, I couldn't get a live stream running today, so I've just recorded this, hope you don't mind, and I'll put it on my YouTube later on.
Sure thing.
Awesome.
Cheers, dude.
Right.
Once again, have a super life.
Great talking to you, man.
All the best.
All the best, man.
Cheers. Well, that was a nice conversation. Hello, my friend. Do you speak English?
Yeah, but I'm just reading. Yes, thank you very much.
Take your time.
What is your interest to show this, finally? To show the light?
To show the light, to help people realize how important we are, the divinity in I, the divinity in you. That actually this whole system has been designed to... Is that a NASA shirt? NASA's faking space, brother. Never went to the moon. They're lying to you. Honestly, NASA's like a religion. And people are caught up in this religion, this belief that we are from monkeys or something, that we live on a spinning ball in the darkness of space, and that we need government, we need control. But actually, the truth is that we are the control. We should be at the top of the pyramid, not underneath. And this science of you come from, whatever, and you rely on other science people who are meant to be, they say, cleverer than you, or rocket scientists and all that are meant to be cleverer than you. You give away your authority to some higher power. And not a religion in this case, but a science religion, scientism of gravity, relativity, outer space, all these things that you and I cannot really test for ourselves in truth. So we're here to tell people that actually we might be the center of creation. The system never wants you to know that.
Why you want us to know that we're the center of creation?
Because I think that, the story of Jesus, do you know the story of Jesus Christ? Well, the story of him is about a man who realizes that the system that is enslaving his people is corrupt. And I think that we're meant to be like that, is when we see the system is corrupt, we're meant to go out and call it out. And I'm going around trying to call it out to people and say, hey, I'm not here to convert you to anything, but I'm here to alert you that your friend is not the government. Your friend is within you. The God, the Creator is within you, and the truth is within you, not out there. And when enough people realize that and change their vibration, change their game, then in fact the world perhaps will move towards a heavenly kind of Eden type world, rather than this hellish Sodom and Gomorrah where people do not like each other anymore and they're competitive with their brothers and sisters.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Interesting.
Thank you. We're here in Lisbon, Portugal, and it's a really nice location actually. We're along the beach.
Stream is down for the moment, Dave.
Daniel
has come from nearby, English chap over there.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's flat t-shirt on. He stood right next to me with a smile on his face. He goes, I'm one of yous. And we went, okay, there he is talking.
Well, let's go and have a look. Yeah. Earth is flat. The Earth is flat. You've been lied to about where you live. NASA fake space. NASA fake the moon landing.
250, maybe a bit higher, like 350 is the White Cliffs of Dover. But yet I can stand with my feet in the sea near Calais, and I can look across to the White Cliffs of Dover, and I can see those cliffs in all entire let alone to be able to.
The problem is the dongle is playing around here.
That helps my optical inefficiency of, because we can only see so far. But I can zoom in and I can see you standing on the other side of those cliffs. I can take it all into consideration. I take my viewing height as 6 foot. There's my eye level, 6 foot.
The other person was at the same.
The other person is on the other side, and you can zoom in entirely. But you're on the water level. So I'm standing with my feet in the sea here. This person is standing on the other side with his feet in the sea. You can zoom in.
It's like a lake.
It's the sea. It's the sea. It's going from France across to England. And you should never be able to see those cliffs because the ball is the height of what the curve is more than what the cliff's height is. You should not be able to see any of those cliffs.
Just need to repair this. Hi friends. Do you speak any English? So have you know the natural physics of water is always to find its level. We say water level in English. Have you heard the phrase sea level?
Yeah.
Okay, we say that because sea is as level as we can measure it. We've taken lasers and we know that a common observation shows that water is always level. But they tell us that we live on a globe, and that globe is 70% water. Please film me, I want you to film me. They say that the globe is 70% water. But that globe is meant to be curving at 8 inches in the mile squared, meaning that over 10 miles there's already 60 foot of curvature, and 100 miles, 6,000 feet of curvature. We know we can't see that. We can fire things, lasers, weapons over much longer ranges and not have to account for the dropping or curvature. Same with ships. Ships can sail over long bodies of water and not go down such that they need to come back up again. The natural physics of water is level. 70% of our globe is water. We say 70% of our Earth must be water. Inside of that water, contained, because water always has to be contained, are the continents that we know as Africa and Asia, South America, etc. But they're not clinging to the side of a ball. That doesn't make any sense, and we can't do a science experiment that could demonstrate that. I can demonstrate to you how I could create an Earth inside of a swimming pool with some big rocks and a magnetic system that made my compass always point to a center. I could sail east or west around that, but I'd never be able to sail underneath it. And that's the truth about our Earth, is that we've never flown or sailed underneath the globe, so-called globe. We've never been underneath it. We go to what we could say is the bottom and we come back out again, but we never go in at 0 and come out at 180. Never done that. Not by plane, not by walking, not by anything. We've been to the moon apparently, but we can't fly underneath our globe. I say to you, the globe is probably a deception. Why? Because it's a trap for the mind. I can get into that if you've got any more questions.
Ja. Nee, Perception.
The globe is a deception to keep us from ever discovering our true divinity, about who and what we truly are. I used to be an atheist believer in Big Bang, evolution, all of these things I believed. But they're only beliefs, and I'm trying to end a world of belief and get to a knowing, a gnosis of the truth about the place we live in. Can I give you a flyer to take home? Some information? Yes. Can I just take one?
Yeah. Take away all the dirt.
There's a website on there, inside there. Just go and check it out. Do the formula. This is NASA's own version of the Earth. There's America in 2012, and in 2013 it's much smaller. It makes no sense. We know that the physics of liquids and gases is to find strata, not shapes like this. As high as we can go with hot air balloons, we can see that it's flat. High as we can go.
I will check it out.
All right, brother. Thanks for that. All the best. Earth is flat. Where's my little megaphone? Here it is. The Earth is flat, my friends. The Earth is flat, provably. Water always finds level. Water level, sea level, ocean level. Think about it, friends. The Earth cannot be a spinning ball. Spinning balls spin water from them. They don't get water to cling to them. Spinning balls do not float. They go up and they go down. And on Earth there is only one up and one down. Things go up and they drop back down. You cannot call that gravity and say now water is going to cling to the underside of a ball. That is mind control. Our governments are controlling our minds. Our education is controlling our minds. It's become a form of religion, a dogma set that everybody adheres to in order to get ahead in this system of materialism and selfishness. The truth is we are one. There is only one creation, one creator, and we are all participants in the creation. The Earth is flat, And the governments never want you to realize that, because you will start to unpick the truth about who and what you truly are. You are a divine emissary of the Most High Creator of this world, but your government wants you to think that you are simply the lucky ejaculation of a monkey. They want you to think that your DNA is so similar to a monkey, you might as well call yourself one. But that could be any further from the truth. There is one creator, one consciousness, and we are all divinely connected to that consciousness. The science of the globe Earth is a complete nonsense.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Yes, hi man.
Absolutely amazing.
Nice to meet you, Daniel. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
I've been watching all your videos.